What's up, guys? It's your boy Mayhem Matthew. Today, this morning we played a morning game. Georgia Bulldogs won by a score of 45-3. So it is always good to come on after a win and talk about your favorite team. In this case, it is the Georgia Bulldogs. The Georgia Bulldogs come to victory 45-3. And before we get started, if you're new here, please subscribe to the Voice of College Football and on this channel, the SEC at the Voice of College Football. The main channel is the Voice of College Football. So please subscribe to both of these channels and all of the other Voice of College Football channels that are listed on the main channel. But right now, we're going to be talking about the Georgia Bulldogs and how they did. I'm waiting till a few people get into the comment sections. But as we wait, we're going to talk about Georgia. Opened up a little bit sluggish. It seemed like the offensive line was poor and pitiful. The offensive line could not block. We couldn't get a couple of yards up the middle whenever we run. I don't know if it's just our running backs or we just couldn't. Our offensive line did not look good at all there in that first half there. But we ended up picking it up in the second quarter. Scored 31 points in the second quarter. A lot of that had to do with defensive turnovers. You had 3 interceptions. Malachi Starks intercepted one. Chaz Chambliss intercepted one. And can't remember the other one. But we'll go through all that in the stats that we're going to read off here. You didn't see Ladd McConkey there. Ra Thomas only got in the game a couple of times. Really didn't see Ra Thomas. We got Jackson Johnson in the chat. What's up, Bulldog Nation? So how you doing, Jackson? Nice to see you on here. But like I was saying, I think you didn't see Dejon Edwards. You didn't see Ladd McConkey. You didn't see Ra Thomas. And you saw Ra Thomas make a catch, but other than that, you really didn't see Ra Thomas out there too much. Kendall Milton's still not 100%, but we'll get to these stats real quick right here for the Georgia passing. Carson Beck went 23 for 30. He went 23 for 30, 283 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Gunnar Stockton, he was 1 for 1 with 4 yards. He kind of handed the ball off a lot too there. As far as Brock Vandergrift went 0 for 2 with 0 yards. But Roderick Robinson on the rushing, he led rushing, 6 carries for 38 yards and a touchdown. Dylan Bell had 3 carries for 28 yards and a touchdown. And then Kendall Milton had 7 carries for 18 yards and a touchdown. And then you had Carson Beck, CJ Smith. Cash Jones had 2 carries for 4 yards. And then Anthony Evans. Gunnar Stockton got sacked for minus 10 yards. But other than that, that was Georgia's rushing. As far as Georgia's receiving goes, Arian Smith, 2 receptions for 50 yards. Carson Beck had a nice deep pass to Arian Smith there I think it was the second quarter there, but he had 2 receptions for 50 yards. The 37-yard pass is the one I'm talking about. It was beautiful. I think that really opened up Georgia's offense there in the second quarter. Oscar Delp had 2 receptions for 50 yards, long of 41. I think that was where they got in first and goal in that situation. Ra Thomas, 2 receptions for 34 yards, 18 long. Cash Jones, 32 yards. Dominic Lovett, 29 yards. He had some great passes. He had some great catches there. Sorry about that. Mekhi Muse, 27 yards. Rosemary Jack Saint, 17 yards. CJ Smith, 16, Dylan Bell 16, Kendall Milton 9. Pierce Berlin got a catch. We saw him come out today with 4 yards, and then Brock Bowers 3 yards in receiving. As far as fumbles go, you had Carson Beck fumble the ball there in the first quarter. We were in position to score. He ended up fumbling there, and we had to settle for a field goal that eventually was missed. So we ended up with 0 points on that drive. So as far as the defense goes, I feel like the defense played really well. The defensive line could have played a little bit better than they did, but I was really, really glad to see Georgia's defense come up, show out, and show up and show out. So no really big issue on the defense. I thought they did give up some big plays, but as far as Georgia's defense, it was just lights out and elite. They gave up 3 points, but that was late. I mean, very late in the game whenever we had our third and fourth stringers out there. Not really any starters out there to give up that 3 points. But as far as our starters, we didn't give up any points there. So I think Georgia overall played a great game. Anytime you score 45 points, that's good, right? 45-3, I think that's a good score. I think on the field play, other than that first quarter, I think we started picking it up. I felt like Carson Beck was more comfortable as the game went on. He's very accurate passer. I think he's still trying to decide, who his guy is, who his playmaker that he wants to throw the ball to is. But other than that, I think this is a lot of people are talking bad about Georgia. Oh, Mike Bobo's terrible play caller. I think that narrative is wrong. I really do. I think Mike Bobo, he called a decent game. He called a pretty good game. Remember, guys, I'm gonna just say this: Georgia's not going to open up the playbook on Ball State. Georgia's not going to open the playbook on Tennessee Martin. Georgia's not going to open the playbook on these teams because, well, why do they need to? I mean, we won 45-3. We don't need to open up a playbook. Now, next week when we get ready for South Carolina, we're going to have to open up the playbook just a little bit. Let's see if we can establish a run game because South Carolina's run defense is absolutely no good. So if we can establish some type of run offense, because like I said, the run defense for South Carolina is no good. So if we can establish some type of run offense, we should probably win that easily as well. And like I said, I think Carson Beck's a great quarterback. This is his second career start. He's 2-0 as a starter. He's getting some meaningful reps in these 2 games, and I like what he's done today. He passed for over 283 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he only missed 7 passes, right? So, and one of them was a tip ball for an interception. I don't know if you can really fault the quarterback for that. It was tipped. So, with that being said, I'm gonna read you some quotes from what Carson Beck said after the game. He said he felt good, he felt comfortable, and he felt confident as well. He thought that they executed at a high level. Now, I do think they didn't start off at a high level, but as the game went on, I do think they executed very well. I think the defense made a lot of plays to get the offense up and moving. I credit the defense on, especially you had 3 or 4 turnovers there. So I do credit the defense a lot, giving the offense a short field to be, to have and to make plays. So, but Carson Beck also said, "We did what we wanted to. Mike Bobo called the plays and we executed." So that's exactly what I'm saying. I don't think they wanted to be this high flying, juggernaut of a team today. I think they just played a vanilla offense, and they got the job done. They got what they wanted. Kirby Smart has said in the past that the magic number on offense is 42 points. So 45 points. You did that today, and you held Ball State to 3 points. That's exactly what you needed to do. You didn't need to go above and beyond and try to get in the shootout with Ball State. It's Ball State. I mean, come on now, it's Ball State. So I think Georgia did a great job. I'm not here to talk bad about the Georgia program because I think Georgia Georgia's hiding a lot of trick plays they're hiding a lot of the playbook. This was just a regular routine. It was just kind of like handing the ball off a couple times, throwing it, trying to get comfortable and in game time situations. It almost it almost seemed like a practice, if you will, right? So there is some stuff we do got to clean up though. Like every other team in the nation, right? Got to clean up some run blocking. You got to clean up, just simple drop passes. Carson Beck could do better with his throws, but like I said, this is only his second career start. So what do you expect from the guy? A lot last year was mop up duty that he had. So as far as as far as this game goes, I see we did a great job. We got the win, and yeah, I was disappointed at the end of the first quarter. We couldn't even punch it in. I think our goal line offense. I don't know what it is, but when we get in the red zone, it seems like we can't score. We can't punch it in, and I would like to see that change for the South Carolina game. I would like to see our red zone offense, especially the play calling down there, get better. So there is some things that need to get better. But name me a team that's perfect. There's no perfect team, right? Georgia has like a 18 and 0 in the last 18. That's as perfect as you're going to get in college football as of right now. But there are some things that Georgia can definitely clean up as far as every other team in the nation. So Kirby Smart says we have a quarterback that's an accurate passer. We've got some explosive players around him, and we're still trying to figure all that out. And that's exactly what I said. I said that I think they're trying to figure out, the who they're trying to figure out Carson's guy, at wide receiver. They're trying to figure out, the explosive playmakers and stuff like that. They know they got some explosive playmakers, but they're trying to figure out how they can use them with Carson Beck at quarterback as well. So I know that might be confusing and whatever, but I feel like I know what I'm talking about. But anyways, if you like this content, smash the thumbs up. And if you really like this content, subscribe to SEC Voice of College Football and the main channel, The Voice of College Football. They do some really great things over there at The Voice of College Football and on this channel. Join our Discord and talk college football all the time. Not some of the time, all the time, 24/7. Sign up at patreon.com, search Mark Rogers TV for that Discord. So got a great Discord here at the Voice of College Football. Lots to talk about. You can talk about your favorite team, or you can talk about who didn't look good and who looked good, right? Today we're talking about the Georgia Bulldogs. If you're just now tuning in, Georgia won 45-3. And like I stated, I'm gonna say it one more time for the people that are just now tuning in. But I feel like Georgia did really well. They scored 45 points, only held Ball State to 3. Kirby Smart has stated a lot of times that if you can score 42, then he's happy, right? So they scored 45. They went above and beyond that, and then they only held Ball State to 3 points. Like I said, they had a couple of turnovers with Chaz Tambliss, Malachi Starks, and can't remember the other guys that had the interception, but we had some great plays on defense. You know, I felt like we got pressure on the quarterback, and we were just all over Ball State. Holding them to 3 points. So with that being said, Carson Beck went 23 out of 30, 283 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. So I can't really express how much I did enjoy Georgia winning this ball game. Other than that first quarter, I was kind of heated. I was like, I'm not gonna lie to you. As a Georgia fan, I was like, why haven't we scored a touchdown yet? I mean, we look sloppy. We look like we don't want to be here again. I thought it was going to be the same exact routine from week one, and I was going to come on here and I was going to tell you how much I didn't like it, and I had something ready for y'all. I was ready to come on here and hoop and holler and rage because Georgia just don't get up for these games. But as the game went on, I began to understand that Georgia don't need to. Georgia don't need to pull out the bag of tricks on Ball State. Don't need to pull out the bag of tricks on UT Martin. So, with that being said, that's pretty much my thoughts on the Georgia Ball State game. So, I know this is a very short, sweet, and to the point live stream. We had Jackson Johnson come into the chat. He says, "What's up, Bulldogs Nation?" And hopefully Bulldogs Nation will rise up next week as we play the South Carolina Gamecocks. South Carolina. Let's we can do a little preview. We can do a little preview for the game Georgia versus South Carolina for next week. Last year, we beat them 48-7 in their own backyard, but this year we have to play at home, which is going to give us a home field advantage. Spencer Rattler. Um, he's one of them type of guys where he can ball out one week and then he could be really bad the next week. I feel like Spencer Rattler is a very good quarterback. Don't get me wrong. Spencer Rattler is a good quarterback. I feel like he can be inconsistent sometimes. As far as Carolina's offensive line's absolutely terrible. I don't think that South Carolina has a go-to wide receiver right now. I don't think Carolina has what Georgia has offensively, and I sure don't think that Carolina has what Georgia has defensively. I think Carolina's defensive line, their run defense is absolutely horrible. Their defensive line is not that great. Their secondary is not that great. I can't really tell you one. I mean, the one great thing at Carolina right now is Spencer Rattler. Remember, Spencer Rattler was a number one overall quarterback coming out of high school. Everybody wanted Spencer Rattler, So he's still Spencer Rattler. I feel like he could be inconsistent sometimes, but he does play for South Carolina, and that's not a knock on South Carolina. I just don't think they have the players that especially that they had last year. They lose Jaheim Bell to Florida State, and they lose their tight end back to Oklahoma. Right? He went back to Oklahoma. So two great weapons for Spencer Rattler last year. This year, they don't have. South Carolina does not have a run game, and if Georgia's offensive line doesn't do any better on getting these Georgia running backs free, then Georgia ain't going to have much of a running game either. But like today at versus Ball State, we had to use wide receivers and tight ends as a running back. So, but with that being said, I do think that preview is pretty much a mismatch for South Carolina. I think Georgia handles business pretty easily next week, but it is SEC opener for Georgia as they play the South Carolina Gamecocks at home. So last year we went over to their house. This year we play at South Carolina. But things that I want to see from Georgia versus the South Carolina games, I do want to see a little bit of the bag of tricks. If Mike Bobo is going to open up the offense, I want to see more open up offense. I want to see some shots downfield. From Carson Beck. As much as I love, watching Carson Beck throw the ball, from sideline to sideline, swing passes, hitch passes, and all this other stuff. I would love to see Carson Beck take some shots downfield. And I would like to see Georgia be explosive on offense on the first drive, right? On the very first drive, I want to see Georgia punch it in for a touchdown. The last two games that we've seen versus UT Martin and Ball State, we didn't get an opening drive touchdown. I want to see an opening drive touchdown for the Georgia Bulldogs, right? I want to see some explosiveness. I want to see some aggressiveness from this Georgia Bulldogs team next week versus South Carolina. I want to see us punch South Carolina in the mouth early, right? That's exactly what I want to see that I didn't get to see in the last two games. Now, hopefully, we wake up and we're motivated and determined that we're going to absolutely run over the South Carolina team. I want Georgia to put away South Carolina early. I do. I really want to see South Carolina get put away early before halftime, so we can put in our second strings and stuff like that. Halfway through the third quarter, something like that. That's what I would love to see as well. I hope this game is not close going into the fourth quarter. I really want to go ahead and put away South Carolina, so we don't have to worry going into the fourth quarter if we have early mistakes. Right? Hopefully, we can get them mistakes cleaned up versus South Carolina, and hopefully we can win that game pretty easily. But I'm gonna cut this live stream short. Not really too much to talk about as far as Georgia versus Ball State. I pretty much said everything 3 times and 3 times over. I think that Kirby Smart did a great job. Mike Bobo did a pretty good job. I think he could have done better in the calling plays in the red zone there. But I do think that offensive pass interference there, I think that was a really bad call. But we settled for a field goal there. Kirby Smart was pretty mad about that as well. But we settled for 3 right there. That could have been a touchdown to even make the score more than 45. So this could have been almost a 50-point game if we would have got that touchdown. So overall, I'm pretty excited. I think Georgia definitely showed some explosiveness there especially in the second quarter and in the second half. and they got to play some of the backups as well, get them, and they played a lot. Of walk-ons too. Let's talk about Makai Muse. I cannot end this live show without talking about Makai Muse. What are you doing, Matthew? What are you doing, Matthew? What are you doing? What are you doing? Talking about Georgia versus Ball State, and you don't mention Makai Muse? Makai Muse was that dog. He was the dog of the game. He's that guy. Makai Muse, every single time he touched the ball, you thought he was going to whoop, 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 whoop. You thought he was going to get a touchdown. You thought every single time he touched the ball that he was going to make a play. You were scared to give Makai Muse the ball today. Ball State, you know it. Ball State was scared to give Makai Muse the ball today. He was dangerous. Makai Muse had a punt return for a touchdown. The last time Georgia had a punt return for a touchdown was 2018 versus Middle Tennessee State. So, and that was back in 2018. I believe that was, I can't remember who that was really. I would have to look that up, but yeah. So Makai Muse, man, I would give him. I mean, if they did game balls, I would definitely give Makai Muse the game ball for today. Save the best for last. We're gonna save the talking point of Makai Muse for last because he is the best. He was the best today, right? He had a let me see. I believe he had a touchdown pass too. So I have to look it up real quick. But I know I know for sure he had a punt return for a touchdown. But I think he scored a passing touchdown as well. I could be wrong. No, he didn't. He had 3 receptions for 27 yards. But that guy Makai Muse is just that guy, right? He looked extremely well today, and he's a walk-on. I feel like Kirby Smart used a lot of players today to get, just in case we have any more injuries, get them ready for the South Carolina game. So, anyways, Makai Muse really showed up and showed out and went above and beyond. I feel like he played 110% today, as well as Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is always going to be Brock Bowers. He's just a special guy as well. But I'm going to end it. Join the Discord. Talk college football all the time. Sign up at patreon.com. Search Mark Rogers TV. Follow Mark Rogers on the main channel, The Voice of College Football, and on this channel, SEC at The Voice of College Football. Also, he has several other channels. If you want to check your favorite team out, just search your favorite team at The Voice of College Football. I'm sure it will pop up. And if you like my content, subscribe to me. Subscribe to Mayhem Matthew on YouTube. I'm on YouTube. I try to post as much as I can. I'm going to go live for the Alabama versus Texas game later. We're going to see if Alabama is the real deal. We're going to see what Texas is made of. Is Texas back? We're going to see that. So, like I said, for the millionth time, I think my Georgia Bulldogs did pretty good. They have some stuff to clean up as far as offensive blocking. They need to clean up that. They need to clean up the red zone play calling. They need to clean up a few things, but overall, I am impressed with my Georgia Bulldogs. They didn't run anything like a bag of tricks or anything like that. They just kept it simple and keep today simple and subscribe to the Voice of College Football. I will see you next week, and go Dogs.